Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Welcome into this weekend edition of the ADL. Actually, I guess it is just Friday, but hey, close enough. If you're on the East Coast, should be getting on towards end of day time, getting towards 3 o'clock. A little happy hour, Dota. Certainly going to be enough to make any man or woman smile. And leading things off here today, the front end of a 5-game day, we've got Smeagol taking on Typical Mistakes. Now, Smeagol, a team that many of you may recognize some of the names from. They were formerly known as the Fnatic North America squad. They split from the organization and now kind of doing their own thing. They're taking on Typical Mistakes, which is a team many folks, including myself, have their eyes on as a team that is likely one of the likely candidates to be an up-and-coming team out of North America. And, they haven't played a ton here in the ADL yet. They're not up there with some of the other teams who've got 6-7 matches or more under their belt. But what we've seen out of them has been pretty damn impressive. They're a team that, talking to Beatas and to Blitz and a lot of the other players that I've had the pleasure of casting with leading up to today, they're pretty high on them as well. They think that Typical Mistakes is a team that really has a ton of potential, and they're really anxious to see what they can put together. Right now, again, only 3 games under their belt. They're sitting at 2-1 in the standings, puts them right in the middle of the pack. Leading the standings, 7-1 for Team Liquid, 5-0 for EG. EG remains our only unbeaten team so far. Arctic Gaming bringing up the third-place position. After they upset Team Dignitas, they moved ahead of them, and Dignitas sitting at 4-2 rounds out the top 4. Smeagol so far, not a lot of games under their belt either. That's going to be changing today, of course. They're just 1-1. But Smeagol and Typical Mistakes, again, looking to play more than a few matches here today. So looking at the way the bans and the picks are already taking shape, Darkseer Gyrocopter, really with the changes that went in with 6.78, that's a combination I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of. Lifestealer actually banned out by Smeagol. And, I was having a conversation with a few of the professional players I know and just some friends. Right now, it is really a mixed bag in terms of opinions on Lifestealer, depending on what team you're talking to, what player you're talking to, etc. Some think that the nerf to open wounds really did just kill him as a top-tier carry kind of a pick, while some think it's way overblown. And in typical broadcaster fashion, I sit kind of on the fence. I do think that it is very, very overestimated just how much that nerf did hurt him. The range on open wounds being brought down, at level 1, it's actually absurdly close. It may as well, you basically have to be close enough to melee attack. But while that did damage his viability in the off lane, or perhaps his potency in the off lane is probably the way to put it, he's still plenty viable. You just have to build a slightly better organized supporting cast before you could put him with just about any 2 supports that had a slow or a stun and guarantee that they were going to be lethal. But speaking of heroes I expect to see a lot more of, Dragon Knight. I've spoken at length, and yesterday it seemed like every game I was either talking about Dragon Knight or watching a Dragon Knight play. He's really seen his star rise so much in the last 2 weeks in all forms of competitive Dota. A hero that really does confound the mid game, and that's probably the way to put it. So long as he gets off to a good start, usually just levels are enough to be considered a good start. A little bit of gold certainly helps, but the only real item that is essential to make him a force to be reckoned with in the mid game is a BKB. Once that comes out, that plus his Dragon Blood passive gives him usually 20 armor-ish, and magic immunity right around 20 to 25 minutes. That's kind of silly, especially given the prevalence of heroes that are used in the mid-game to apply pressure, the Lone Druid, the Lifestealer, both of which are banned out, and the Juggernaut as well. So I've been talking a lot about Smeagol's draft so far, looking at Typical Mistakes. Clockwork Chen, Naga Siren. Naga Siren, another hero like DK, who we're beginning to see a lot more often. A lot of teams are really enjoying the way she fills out a solo mid. Believe it or not. It doesn't seem like that long ago I was having conversations with professional players about Naga's viability, and her role as a potential support was actually being talked about a bit more. Now she's transitioning towards a solo mid kind of a hero. She still can farm, still can do her thing, but because of the Riptide buff is why you're seeing her solo mid so often now. Riptide on just a 10-second cooldown. Not the most mana-intensive spell, especially when she gets up a bottle. Even with Bottle Crowing having been nerfed in the latest patch, she's still able to really just reliably CS from distance, as well as give out some free harass. The range on Riptide actually is considerably larger than it seems at first glance. And Smeagol's draft right now is so very reminiscent of a Dignitas-style draft. And I say that because all these heroes work together amazingly well. This is the kind of, whenever I play, and granted it's certainly not at this level, But whenever I do play, this is the kind of draft I try to put together too. This is the kind of draft as a broadcaster I like to see. Typical mistakes, I mean, we're still waiting to see how they're going to round out their front four. But with Smeagol, every one of these heroes works together. Vacuum into Gyrocopter's call down, vacuum into Ice Path, the Macro Pyre, more AoE damage to go with Gyrocopter, to say nothing of Dragonite's push potential, the AoE that he's going to have at level 2 Elder Dragon form, the fact that he can melt towers so quickly once it's just level 6, has 1 point in Elder Dragon form. That gives him a little bit of push. Gyrocopter can melt creep wave, so he has some push. It's just a well-rounded lineup that when they hook up as a 5-man squad can do a little of everything very well, and they still have the chance to transition to late-game physical DPS, as Dragonite and Gyro are very good in that department, Gyrocopter in particular. Now, on the side of typical mistakes, the big problem I have right now, when I look at their lineups, where's the damage? They have a lot of utility. They have a lot of ways they can abuse the map, a lot of ways that they can apply pressure. But I see a lot of heroes who need a few things before they can get going, whereas Smeagol's lineup just about universally, yeah, more or less universally right now, just levels will do enough for them. So even if they don't have the best laning phase, so long as they don't give up a lot of unnecessary deaths and lose map control, they're going to be very difficult for typical mistakes to cope with. Clockwork has great reach. I love the synergy between Clockwork and Chen. I talk about it all the time in the D2L broadcast. So much of pushing and having good push potential is based on not just your ability to overwhelm a tower, but your ability to fight behind a tower. How do you have enough initiation range? Do you have the ability to force the enemy team off of their own tower and force them back, or at least make them commit if they decide to come forward and actually try to defend? Clockwork gives you that, has the best. I've yet to be contested on this, and given how often I am tweeted at whenever I get something wrong, I'm gonna just start treating this as gospel because I think it's right. Clockwork with the longest range non-global ability in the entire game with his hook certainly gives you that reach that you want. Hook that up with Chen. You've got great push potential. Naga Siren with Mirror Image is going to be able to give you that push potential as well. But, you know, again, where's the damage? Naga Siren can turn out a little bit of damage. Riptide, once she gets built, once she gets up her Diffuse or her Yasha Manta, however you want to approach that, she can do damage. Chen's not going to do a whole lot of damage outside of Test of Faith. Does help out with Penitence, of course. But again, more utility. Lion, same thing. Has one great single target magic ability. Has a couple of good stuns. But again, not reliable, not consistent. Whereas Smeagol, between the Dragonite, between the Gyrocopter, and they have a ton of lockdown. You know, that's kind of the other problem is, you know, Naga Siren gives you, Song of the Siren gives you AoE, the potential to lock down. I mean, everyone knows how that works. So you can lock down a team and start a fight on your own terms. But after that, you've got Hex, you've got Earth Spike from Lion. That's great. Single target spells, Clockwork, Hook, Cogs. I mean, unless the Cogs are immaculate, going to be single target for the most part. Maybe you're lucky to get someone to bounce. Chen has Penitence for a slow. Naga Siren has Ensnare. All great abilities. They have the ability to lock people down, but it's all single target. Compare that to Smeagol. Smeagol has mass AoE in every department. AoE magic damage, AoE physical damage, AoE lockdown, and a lot of natural synergy. And now with the Treant Protector is going to be basically a reset button. That's going to make it actually a bit difficult for Naga Siren to reliably start fights. And I'm a little surprised, to be honest, and this is something I think we may see change as we get closer to the International. Treant Protector is so annoying, and that's basically why he's picked right now. Even some teams banning him in the first phase. Living Armor, his ability to regen towers. I mean, he gives you a lot of utility. But as good as he is in those departments, he isn't a hero that gives you, in my opinion, my humble opinion, what a Tidehunter would give you. A Tidehunter, the obvious reset button to a Naga Siren sleep. And we'll see how it's going to work out. I mean, Tree's ultimate is not bad by any stretch. It just, to me, I'm not convinced that Tidehunter has fallen off and fallen out of popularity justifiably. I think Tidehunter has a lot of room to be played, especially with Tree coming back. And you know, Tide again out of the tri-lane, especially up against the defensive tri-lane, is a little underrated. I think the armor reduction from Gush, the slow associated with it, the range that comes with it as well. But anyway, we are going to be getting our first game of the day. This will be our first of 5 games here today.
Prepare for
looking
battle.
to have some fun here on the ADL. I want to thank each and every one of you for making us a part of your day. Good morning, evening, or afternoon, no matter what part of the world you happen to call home. Glad you're calling the stream home, at least for a little while. We'll run through our lineup, see who's handling who. We'll have Slice'em playing on the Lion Chen. I'll be handled by I Am a Sheep. Luna going to be farmed up by Goody. The Naga Siren going to be played by Ryu and Clockwork. going to be played by Cakes on the other side of the river. We got Taku handling the big tree himself. Darkseer going to be played by what a player! Shakira going to be handled by Clouds. DK going to be taken mid by Peachy. And really, this is just about where you always see DK now. I mean, it's, for better or for worse. I like DK in mid, but I feel like as teams figure out how vulnerable the DK can be in mid, he does have one very good stun and Dragon Tail to bail him out.
30 seconds to
and
battle.
Usually you're not going to see a lot of points put into it, but still, it is a nice. It does give you a little bit more survivability just because even at level 1, it's solid. And then Yuji will be farming up the Gyrocopter. Neither team really interested in invading jungles, just protecting their jungle as it stands right now. We will have the tri-lane down here, and I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. Lion Chen and the Luna going to be running out of the defensive tri-lane. We're going to have Clock making his way to the off lane, while Naga Siren, as anticipated, will be doing her thing here in mid. For Smeagol, looks like Taku is still kind of roaming around. And Darkseer going to wind up in the off lane. Peachy, again, will be in mid. It's going to be Yuji +1 up here. That'll be Clouds. And really a little interested to see what Taku's going to be up to here. He's just going to drop a sentry, doing a little counter warding. And yeah, I guess he will just make his way back up to the jungle. So should be a very quiet laning phase. Darkseer and Clockwork, two of the better off laners. So barring any mistakes, we really shouldn't see any first bloods coming out of there. If I had to guess, this is where, I mean, it's amazing how quickly things can change. And DK was making a comeback even before the latest patch. He did get a significant buff. And hold on, Cake's going to be caught with a nice path. We'll get the cogs down. That's exactly why I'm not expecting to see a first blood anytime soon. But the DK was making a comeback in a big way. He was, and I'm going to take credit for that. I was ahead of the curve on that in an interview about a month ago. I was asked what heroes I thought would be making a comeback in time for the International. I named DK as one of them. But, he's a hero that he can give you so very much. He could before, but especially now that he gets the poison effect stacking on top of the AoE damage that comes with level 2 Elder Dragon form. So he stays viable in a push-centric lineup. He stays viable in a teamfight-centric lineup. And right there, the two reasons these two heroes are currently kind of popular picks for mid. They both have great range. You can use those abilities to CS and to do free harassment. But, just a few weeks ago, it was always about the Magnus, the Puck, the Queen of Pain in mid. Even Skywrath Mage getting some love over the last 6 weeks or so. But now the two melees, and this is why I say I would expect most of the action early on to be taking place here. You got two melee heroes who are going to be very close to each other. They're going to be competing for runes, and as we see, the rune picked up and invis by Naga. And both of the heroes, more importantly, have one single target disabled that is very potent on both sides. You get Snare out of Ryu, or out of the Naga Siren and DK with Dragon Tail, which means any rotation from supports. In a lot of cases, you'll have something like Puck, for example. Puck doesn't have a stun until he hits level 6. He has Waning Rift, which is a nice silence. He has the ability to get on top of someone to chase them behind the tower reliably, but no dedicated lockdown. Magnus, kind of the same way. If it's RP, he just has to rely on a good skewer, and that's a lot easier said than done. And we can go down the list. Queen of Pain, obviously no stun, just a lot of damage, a lot of mobility. But with these two, if they get a good gank or a fortuitous rune from their supports, they're going to be able to start the chain of initiation out. And right now, if I'm DK, I'm very, very conscious of what's going on. And this is exactly why this rune or this ward is here. I'll demonstrate it in just a moment. Ryu does pop the invis, but the reason for this right here, to make sure that if and when Chin comes out, and he's very well aware of it, if when Chin comes out, comes up that way, the Naga being able to ensnare him whenever he's down in this part of the river would be devastating if the Chin were able to get up here and just hit an air spike. And Darkseer coming very close to dropping. And eats the Lucent Beam. Couple of auto attacks. What a player. Will be pursued by the Ursa. And Living Armor. Oh, the clap off the mark. It's a good attempt. But yes, if if the DK is down in the river, waiting around getting his boots wet, and then gets ensnared when Chen has already made it to say right here without being detected, he's just dead. especially if he has a decent creep. If he has a Centaur or a Dark Troll Summon. For the moment, though, remaining very quiet. And, you know, I wonder if this is a passing trend or if this is something. This is a return to Dota many months ago. For the longest time, it was all about aggression, and we will have some aggression. That's a big old creep wave. Getting ready to push out here from typical mistakes. But, or maybe not. Yeah, they actually are not going to auto attack. Huh. Okay.
Must be done.
Guess it was just that they messed up the pull. Yeah, I think they messed up the pull. I think that's the only way to put it. That's why this is pushing out. Usually you get a single pull like that, you're going to immediately push an auto attack just so you can get something out of it. You're going to end up shoving it into the offlaner's clutches anyway.
Denied.
But with Darkseer using his Ion Shell to shove this back out, doing just fine. Little help from the tree, living armor action. 5 minutes in, not a kill on the board. But yeah, this feels a lot like Dota back before the International 2. It was a month or two after TI2. And I got to get in the habit of calling it by the year. I think that's the new branding, if I'm not mistaken. No official press release, but I've noticed that this year's TI is being known as the International 2013 in most literature from Valve. So in the International 2012, this was very much the style. Very passive early games. And then after that, especially in the West, you saw the rise of aggressive Dota, Empire Dota. And really, I think that's appropriate to say Empire was a poster team for that kind of style. Had a lot of success with it. For about 2.5 months, seemed undefeatable. I mean, they won something silly like 28 out of 30 best of 3 seasons or something. Cake's going to be caught with an ice path. Leech Seed slows him down. There's the call down. And this might be it. Dove all the way back. And first blood goes the way of Smeagol. No help coming. That's really a shame. 6 minutes in, they should have been prepared to react. Heroes diving that deep, you gotta punish that. And nobody came.
Top tower is under attack.
Yeah, Lion should have been there, for sure. But probably for the best he didn't. Who knows, maybe TP's in and gets dead here in mid. Peaches, helped out by living armor, uses his wand charges and they're not going to chase. So the DK makes it away.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Speaking of TPs, here comes one. It'll be Taku making his way in. And it looks like they're just going to leave
Radiant's bottom tower
this top lane alone. I'm really surprised neither of these teams are trying to push a tower down. Especially typical mistakes. I'm a little surprised they've let this tier 1 stay up as long as they have. Because what they could have very easily done early on is wait for Chin to get an Ursa or even just a Wild Wing for the armor. And then single pull and push and even be willing to push all the way down to the tier 2. That would force the Gyrocopter and the rest of the team into a reaction, which I really don't think Smeagol's anxious for. I mean, pushing into a DS, a little chancy, and not necessarily chancy. It's a pain in the butt. But
Radiant's middle tower is under
feel
attack.
like they're letting this early game drag on a little bit. Especially with Smeagol already getting the one lone advantage that we see, which is that first blood. Take a look at the CS. We can see Luna is in good shape. She's sitting at 51, 47 right behind her is the Gyrocopter, Naga Siren. Sitting at 44 out of mid, not a bad show for her. 41 for DK. So mechanically at the moment, typical mistakes a little bit ahead just in terms of what they've been able to generate on their own. Chen, Clock, and all that to grab bag afterwards.
Dire's middle tower is under
You
attack.
can already see Chen going to be using a creep to continue to stack the Ancients up. And it's actually not... Yeah, Helm of the Dominator. My bad, not Chen. The Helm of the Dominator on Yuji. But yeah, this is a typical build, and against typical mistakes, I am A-okay with it. In fact, I'm even better than A-okay with it. Typical mistakes right now is going to be very reliant on a lot of individual lockdown, because that's what they have. They have the Luna, who's going to do some damage physically, but for the most part, going to take a bit for her to really start to feel ultra viable. And we're going to see them go ahead and zone this tower out. Now, see, here's the problem. Like, they're doing this, and it's in 9 minutes. They're going to go ahead and heal it up with living armor.
Bottom tower is
And
under attack.
over here, looks like Smeagol's just going to counter push. I feel like if they did this earlier, and yeah, trying to buy time with living armor. If they did this earlier, I feel like they might have gotten away to pushing to the tier 2. Jakiro's going to rotate over. Drop the ice path. Tier 1 will drop. There's a dual breath. Let's see if they want to engage. So they get the tier 1. But if they do that earlier, and we can see Cakes right now is doing all right. I mean, he's fairly tanky. He's got a bottle. So he can stand up to the flat cannon. And he's actually, I mean, he's got a hook. He needs to do something. Should not be letting the gyrocopter just peck this tower away. Now he's going to run forward and get the box. And there's the follow-up Earth Spike.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
I'm a little surprised they waited that long. Ryu does get the kill on the gyro. And now, looking to grab Taku. And there's the hook. They don't have any detection. And he's got cogs up, but not going to use it. But yeah, that should have been prevented there. You know, you don't want to isolate yourself against a gyro for obvious reasons. You just get melted by rocket barrage. But there should have been a TP coming in much earlier. He should have hooked much earlier. Nonetheless, we're at 1-1. One tower down on both sides. 1,000 gold as we roll past 10 minutes is currently the advantage for typical mistakes. 2,000 experience. And it looks like Luna actually just got a solo kill on the DS. Gonna guess she used her ulti. She did. And Helm of the Dominator in her own inventory. And Helm of the Dominator has always been fairly popular, but we're beginning to see it come out as a first item and a lot more on a number of heroes, Gyrocopter and Luna among them. And Peachy caught with the Finger of Death after being caught with the hook from the Clockwork. So TM now beginning to open themselves up a little bit of a lead. Yuji will go ahead and take himself an Ancient Stack. And this is one of the things that Helm of the Dominator lets you do. Just take Ancient Stacks quicker, more efficiently. What I really like about the Helm of the Dominator, though, is the bonus armor it gives you. For the cost, you get a lot out of it. Especially, I mean, when you consider just being able to use a creep, to dominate a creep and use it as a free ward. Use it as the creep that you want to use to stack the Ancients. Any number of things. And wow, Goody in No Man's Land is likely to be killed here. And gonna do what damage he can. Here comes the help, though. That's gonna be Slicer spawning him out. There's the Earth Spike and the immediate reaction. They're gonna have to back out here, and Cake's gonna go ahead and drop the cogs as they retreat to the south. Ice Path catches them. A little bit of damage done, but Shin gonna be sending him back to the house. And luckily, because he was caught with the Dragon Tail. Now SMG grouping up and looking to make something happen. Tier 1 bottom looks like the target. I wonder if Peachy's, you have something on the courier? He does not. So Peachy's very stable build so far, has treads. A bracer most likely going to be trying to get a set of drums. Then he'll have the option of straight rushing a BKB or getting a Shadow Blade. Given the lineup they have, I wouldn't mind either one. Again, TM's biggest strength, hold on, there's the Naga Sleep. Ryu's got him caught. Let's see if they can chain this together well. They better have good communication. And they're going to go for it. Taku does not do anything, just died basically. Ice Path caught a couple. There's the call down. And the damage just way too much. Slicer going to end up dead. And Yuji going to end up dead. And this is kind of what I was talking about. SMG should be able to clean this up, yeah. TM did a great job, as well as they possibly could have. The Treant Protector didn't get a whole lot accomplished. They end up going 3 for 3. But in the end, that went about as well as it could have for TM. And Peachy's was up and in great shape at the end. That should have been a 4 or 5 man wipe, and they did a good job of avoiding that by withdrawing into the woods. But TM, they're lacking damage. They really are. And don't know was he not happy about that? That was actually the tree pinging that. But that's my worry, is like right there, TM had the initiation advantage. Treant Protector wasn't even level 6. He was just short of it. And as the game wears on, I worry that the fact that they're so reliant on individual lockdown is going to really begin to hurt them. Because it's so hard to get big plays, to take big chunks of damage out of a whole team's composition like that. And Lion actually managed to kill off a Darkseer by himself. Probably just ran up and fingered him. TV. But, anyway, 8-5. Typical Mistakes is still leading. The game's still very close. Sub 2,000 gold lead for them. 3,000 experience. Worth noting, but not huge. There's going to be the ulti pop. He's locked down. Ice Path follows it up. Dragon Tail will lock him down as well. There's an ensnare on the Taku. Chen trying to help out, but Hand of God, not enough to erase the Breath of Fire. And if I'm SMG right now, I just want to go fight. I'm not worried that much about anything else. Just go fight. BKB looks to be the choice for the gyro. Already has his Mithril Hammer. He'll be looking to grab an Ogre Club momentarily. Taku does not have his mech. Chen does. Now that's one good advantage that TN has. They have two good heals between Hand of God and Mechanism. And there's the ensnare. They're going to try to perhaps... I thought maybe they were going to try to follow that up. Here comes Ryu. And Ryu does not have sleep. They're just trying to zone them out. I'm not sure why SMG is so worried about taking a fight. I mean, the double damage on Ryu is a concern. For the most part, they seem to be in good shape. Instead, just going to play it safe, though. Play it passively, not overcommit. Wait on the BKB on the gyro. That much I can understand. Take a look at the items. Chen, again, has his Mechanism, Luna, with a Yasha and her Helm of the Dominator. Naga Siren's got a set of drums, 1,200 gold in the bank. She picks up a Blade of Alacrity. We'll see if that's going to be a Yasha on the way to a Manta of her own, or if it'll be a straight-up Alacrity, a Blade of Alacrity. Either one I would be pretty... excuse me, Diffusal Blade. Either one I would be pretty solid with. Clockwork will be getting himself a Blade Mail. Solid pickup on the clock always. Dream Protector. He's about 300 gold away from having his Buckler. And 1,200 from the full mech. Jakiro will be building himself an urn. The DK making progress towards his own BKB, so he will be skipping, or will be going the pure survivability build. Taku heals himself up. Ice Path going to be dodged. There's a Earth Spike to lock him down, and the Hex, so that's a free kill. Playing a little bit too far out there. And Jakiro trying to juke his way to safety. Will be able to make it to the south. That's going to open the door for typical Mistakes to invade across the river. Tier 2 here in mid looks to be the target.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And we'll see if they want to contend. It looks like they're happy to just split push with the gyro right now. He does have a TP if he wants to come. Yep, he will come back. The tower's going to end up dropping.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
A little wonky movement on both sides, to be honest. So they come back, not in time to save the tower. They didn't split push this tower, and now they're just going to chase them out. You know, and again, if I'm Smeagol, I think I'd be willing to play a bit more confidently than they are. They're in good shape. And they're only about 400 gold from having that BKB on the gyro. Very important item for him. Especially with Luna building the way she is. She's going Yasha BKB. So he should, in theory, have at least one good fight before she gets her BKB. Spot out the ancient stack up there. He will be chased away nonetheless. But really love this build on most ranged agility heroes. Really love it on Luna. Really love it on Gyrocopter. You have to be confident in how much room to breathe in that. Yasha BKB, you can get caught in this really weird moment where you just finished your Yasha, and it's nice that you can run away, but that's about all you can do well, because you don't have enough levels under your belt to really feel like a full-fledged hero at that point, but at the same time, you don't have magic immunity, so you're not tanky, you're not doing a ton of damage. And you can't get caught out in a wonky little period of time like that. But about the time you get the Ogre Club up, you're safe. Obviously, the quicker you get the BKB up, the better. But, you know, I mean, just look at where she is right now. She's only got about another 800 gold for a BKB. She has her Yasha already up. Her Helm of the Dominator granting the bonus armor. She's at 16 overall armor, which is very, very good. The DK at 20, as mentioned, and the Gyro at 17. So all of the heroes right now getting pretty tanky in the face of physical damage.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And the tier 1 now looking to be the site of the next battleground. Ryu gonna go ahead and loop around the hook up with folks, and there's the ulti. He got 3 of them together, and the Ice Path only gonna catch 1. Really poor communication there. That was such a missed opportunity. And now they're gonna reinitiate. Just heard the, there's a Finger of Death. It's gonna clean up the Jakiro. That is unfortunate for SMG. We're going to go ahead, go ulti, and there's the ensnare BKB. Call down's going to be there. Naga sleep. puts him to bed, though. And the BKB obviously prevents Yuji from being affected by it. That's actually a great way to cope with that. And now the reinitiation. Here comes SMG from behind. Lots of good damage being done. SMG slowly fighting their way back into this. We're going to have what a player end up cleaned up. Goody still going head-to-head with Peachy. There's another Breathe Fire that gets a double kill. And Ryu caught with the Dragon Tail. Here comes Cakes. He's going to drop the cogs. Shakiro runs right into it. And the Ice Path going to lock Cakes down. But they do end up killing off the DK. One of the more bizarre fights I think I've ever seen. And I'll tell you why. Naga Sleep was a good call. Right in this area. But then everyone from TM chased the gyrocopter. So what they did was sleep the enemy team. Everyone turned their back on the enemy and went after a gyro that was dead to rights right here anyway. And then SMG just reinitiated from a flank. And SMG has better damage. They just do. So all they have to do is chain their abilities together and let their heroes do what they do. We saw DK able to clean up basically the rest of an entire team. And yeah, that was just a bizarre fight. Big missed opportunities for SMG early on in the fight, and then typical mistakes ended up opening the door for them again anyway. 20 minutes in, we got 24 kills on the board. 14-10 is how they're split. Following that fight, taking a look at the gold, typical mistakes has nonetheless continued to increase their lead. They're up to 5,000 gold advantage, 4,000 experience, diffusively. Now done on the Naga, and as I said, I really do prefer that. I think right now what they need more than anything is just pure out and out damage. They're coming close. I mean, that should have been a stomp up here on SMG. It really should have. SMG really screwed the pooch. And it was a good ult from the Treant Protector. He caught 3 of them right here. I don't know if it was that. Looks like a yelling face. But Taku going to be engaged upon in the jungle. Macropire goes down. There's the ulti from Taku. Damage being done. Good vacuum. Right back into it. Blade Mail returning some damage. Wall goes down. There's Hand of God. Ice Path going to catch at least a couple. Actually got 3 with it. Now the Naga Sleep. And if they're smart, they'll run. That's the right call to make. Chen sends the Clockwork home. And the rest of them able to get away. Surge on DK. He's looking for a target. He's going to walk right into a whole team. And now the BKB's up. Taku's in trouble. He might end up dropping. Peachy's is gone. They get the tree as well. 3 on the retreat. Cloud's going to be caught with a Lucent Beam, Rocket Flare, and 1 auto attack will clean him up. And SMG just made the exact same mistake typical mistakes did. They over-pursued. Committed way too hard. Running in blind. 17-10, and that might end up being the key moment in the game. SMG was keeping it close, but from there, it's only going to get worse. It's up to 7,500 gold to the advantage of TM, and very likely to hit close to 5 figures after they take this Roshan. They should be able to take this Roshan, rotate to bottom, push in the tier 2. And nope, they're just going to retreat. Not sure why. The DK down 14 seconds. They could have easily cut over and pushed at this tower. We can see SMG was thinking the same thing. That's why they're healing it up. That would have been, still was a nice fight for them. But playing it safe, understandably. Chen's going to be getting himself a Vlad. Lion, no idea. Trying to get something together. Got the bracer. Luna will be finishing her Manta style forthwith. She has the ulti orb up already. And we'll have the recipe soon. Already has her Aegis. Really like the way this Luna's shaping up. She's level 16 already, which is excellent. Again, her armor quite good at 18 overall. 11 for Cakes with his Blade Mail. He's got 1,000 gold too. He can start working towards a Scepter if he really wants to. Love Scepter. Especially if you can get it out at a decent time on the Clockwork. Treant Protector. Still in search of that mechanism. Might be on the way to him, actually. Nope, just once. So still no mechanism for them. And this is one of the problems you can give yourself if you don't just let the Darkseer build it. And Naga actually just got another easy kill on Dragon Knight. DK can't be giving up deaths like that. He's had a couple of those this game. And they're just probably going to be able to rotate top and push through to tier 2. He's down for 44 seconds. I doubt he has buyback. He doesn't. So if they're quick about this, they can get they can get to the tier 2 and probably already be damaging it before he respawns. And they're going pretty slow, actually. I'm not sure why. SMG without DK. And with Luna. Luna's now way ahead. I mean, my concerns about damage were not unfounded. They were just overcome. Whenever you have a Naga and a Luna that get this far ahead and farm, yeah, damage isn't the issue anymore. And they actually just sent home Ryu. It's just assuming they could take it for free regardless. SMG could contest this. Doesn't look like they're interested. So 2 more towers go down, a tier 2 on the side of SMG, and a tier 1 given up by typical mistakes. Here come the TPs. They might be able to catch him. He's eating living armor. For the moment, typical mistakes. Quite far ahead. Yep, that's kind of what I expected. 10,000 gold. And they could just take down the last last remaining outer tier tower. Anytime they want, really. SMG's just going to have such a hard time engaging and having, and given how far ahead. Nice hook from Cakes. There's the finger of death, and without Gyrocopter, this team's nothing, basically. The DK was in good shape to begin, still in search of that BKB. Things just stagnated for him. And TM has done a better job of capitalizing on mistakes, I think. They made a few themselves, living up to their namesake. But overall, I mean, because, like, this Chin's a good example. I have not really felt the influence of a Chin much this game. I just haven't. The towers didn't start to come down until a little bit later. We're going to see Slice'll send home to get his Blink Dagger. Love that build on Lion. And, you know, a lot of players do it, but I always think of it as the Puppy build. When Puppy plays Lion, he always gets a blink as quick as he can.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
But SMG just giving away too much for free, basically. BK finally gets his BKB. But, there's a hook. Nice shot on the Jakiro. What was he doing there? What was the plan?
You're stealing your eye.
And that's really been the bane of SMG this entire game. Just giving up deaths and kills for no reason. There's an Atos action picked up on the Darkseer. Looking to tank himself up. Here we go. There's the ulti. They're going to engage. BKB out of it. There's the Eclipse. Good damage being done. Bad communication on the Naga Sleep. Horrible communication. That's unfortunate for everyone. That was really, really ugly. And I'm not trying to hate. That's just ugly. You pop Eclipse, you pop your BKB, and then Naga Sleep? No. Yeah, that was just a very unfortunate sequence of events there. Especially, that was a 4-on-5. There's no way that SMG could have stood up to that. No way. But instead, they get a reprieve, and the game rolls on. Peachy, level 16, has his level 3 Elder Dragon form. Very important stage of the game, getting there. Back to the gold. Continues to climb in favor of TM. Experience, same thing. And looks like I'm a Sheep will actually be getting a scepter of his own. Cakes getting a scepter of 2. Good job, Cakes. Listen to AC. Almost threw you wrong. Try not to. Luna going to take another ancient stack. She's going to be able to have her butterfly up real quick. She can afford the Eagle Song right now, and she can just about buy the Eagle Song and the Eagle Song and the Quarterstaff as soon as she clears out these last 2. Yeah. And she's going to run right over and do that now. I would be surprised if she doesn't, anyway. Does kind of have a full inventory at the moment, so might just want to wait to one-shot buy it. But right now, SMG's doing about all they can, really. Turtle this out, play safe. You can see very, very defensive wards. Knowing that any hope they have of winning this game is going to have to come from simply taking it late and hoping that they have the ability to get a bit more out of their lineup than they have thus far. 30 kills on the board in a 28-minute game, 2/3 of them belong to typical mistakes. I want to thank you guys for being a part of the broadcast. Reminder, this is game 1 of 5. We got a long broadcast day ahead, long in a good way. Be rolling from now until roughly, if I had to guess, 6 o'clock on the West Coast and 9 o'clock on the East Coast. Great way to start your day, and you know, even if you are on the East, you can still go out for a drink, go out catch the late movie, the late showing, and spend your early Friday hours here with us.
And it's off.
And Typical Mistakes is actually playing this very, very patient. Roshan going to be back up in about 3 minutes. Thinking that's probably what they're waiting on. Hart is going to be done on the Naga. So, very typical stuff. Out of Typical Mistakes. Luna, just about done with her butterfly as well. Has enough for it. Hold on. Going to have I'm a Sheep spotted out. And there's the Hexes too. He tries to heal himself up. There's the Naga Sleep. That's much better executed. I really think this game might be over if it wasn't for the blown Naga Sleep at the bottom. But as is, we roll on, and Naga saving the Chen, keeping him and his menagerie alive. And really, I mean, this has just been, when you look at the way this game has been played, there have been mistakes on both sides, but, you know, and I'm not trying to point so much at the player, but so much at the value of the hero. This DK was very valuable early on. We saw how much damage he was doing. He was able to clean up a fight that it looked like his team had lost. But as the game has gone on, he just became a non-factor. He's being doubled in farm by the Luna. Doubled up. And both the Luna and the Naga are both ahead of the gyrocopter. And given how little the DK has, that should not be the case. You know, if DK is going to be that underfarmed in comparison, then that gyro better have every bit of that farm that he's missing. Speaking to the gyro, probably going to be working on an MKB, should be anyway. Has the Demon Edge up, and can anticipate that Luna and even the Naga might even both build butterflies. And speaking of, Booty finishes his as we speak. Roche back up in about 60 seconds. And I would imagine that'll be our last major engagement. You have to think SMG is going to try to contest that. And they've got every tool in the world to contest it amazingly. I mean, the AoE that TM has is just not that great. I mean, Naga Sleep, yes, it depends on... I don't even classify Naga Sleep as a true AoE ability. I mean, obviously it is in all senses of the word, but it doesn't do damage. And it's not a stun. It's not really a disable. It's just a positioning ability. Coming up on 32 minutes, and we can see TM is trying to shove the lanes as best they can. Assert map control. They've got some very aggressive wards of their own out. Just keeping an eye on all three lanes. They can account for everything at any given moment. You can see here in mid how many are gathered.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Roche respawns. Counter warding now. I guess they picked a gem up, and they did. Sticking it on the Lion. And Roshan. One would think this would be contested. A little surprised SMG's not moving in that direction at all. Clock does finish his scepter in the meantime. Yeah, I mean, getting Yuji a little bit of extra farm. He's going to be stopped here. And Naga's actually going to... Yeah, this is a really nice play out of Typical Mistakes. This is the right call to make. Ensnare goes through BKB. And they're just going to try to do damage. And I'm surprised they only sent 2 here. That's a bit of a mistake. There's the Ensnare. So they managed to force him back at the very least. That was kind of sloppily executed. I don't know why. I mean, the Chen, I understand. Chen doesn't teleport a lot because he leaves his creeps behind. There's no reason Cake shouldn't have been there. If Cakes is there, that's a dead gyrocopter. If he TPs, all he has to do is hold on to his hook until the gyro tries to TP away, and it's a guaranteed kill. 34 minutes in, and SMG holding the game together as best they can, still behind quite a bit. 15,000 in both categories. The Luna feeling quite large. Full inventory. Now just going to bank for buyback. Speaking of buyback, 2 on the side of SMG have it. The 2 carries, the 2 they would want to have it. Right now, though, this Naga going to begin to feel very, very big. Looks like they are finally beginning to close the gap a bit. Now, you know, I've talked all game about SMG synergy, the way their heroes work together. Really did love their draft. They just haven't gotten a lot out of it, and there's going to be a free Hex on Yuji. Ice Path's going to buy some time. There's the Impale to follow it up. Macro Pyro goes down. BKB's pop. Ryu's way up in front, and the vacuum. There you go. Chen uses the heal. There's the Naga sleep. And Yuji going to be focus fired down as he was the only one not affected by it. Ryu still up and fighting. DK making a retreat as well. Now the Eclipse. That's going to be enough to melt down Clouds. And the magic damage a bit too much for DK as well as he makes a run for the well. And the hook going to be off the mark. Dragon Tail buys him some time. Cakes unable to finish the job. They've got a lot of banged up heroes, but all of their heroes, at least for the moment, are still standing. And Darkseer actually manages to get a kill. I didn't see what he did. There's the buyback from Naga. Heard the vacuum.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower.
But this will end up most likely costing them racks. We're going to rotate over. Pretty tough to engage into that. Down go the racks. Mech from Chen gets them back up and fighting. And, oh wow, he Dragon Tailed the wrong one. That's unfortunate. And now the Ice Path's going to go. There's a hook. Has Cogs in 2 seconds. We'll see if we can get him down. In the meantime, Goody re-engaging to be able to get 2 kills at least. Yep. Double kill going his way. And what a player forced the surge away as Ryu rejoins the engagement. Fresh off the buyback. Took him a bit to walk back, but would imagine this will be your GG as they're going to take at least one other set of racks. Yep. It'll be all 3. Basher on the gyro, because that's what you do on a gyro. And Gyrocopter going to engage, go for broke, go for glory. Did get a bash there, actually. And can't out, oh, he does, barely out heal the hooks. Barely managed to out heal the lifesteal of the Luna. And the GGs come out. So, players having a sense of humor, why not, right? Took him 36 minutes, but nonetheless an impressive win from typical mistakes. They did a good job of really just outgrinding SMG. I really enjoyed SMG's draft. And, you know, just to be blunt, again, I'm not hating on the team. This is just being as honest as I can. They just didn't get a lot of mileage out of it. A lot of miscommunications. TM had a few of those too. But at the same time, an excellent game and an excellent way to start this broadcast here on the ADL. Yep, level 2, level 3 Dagon, because, you know, that's what we do. That's how we roll here at the ADL. Slowly but surely, the Ancient being brought down. Hope you guys are enjoying your day so far, and hopefully you enjoyed that game just as much as I did. Game 1 in the books. 31-12. The final kill score as typical mistakes gets a win under their belt, adds another one to their ever-growing collection. Here in the ADL, SMG drops game number 1. They'll be trying to get things back on track later today. I think they play again today. No, they don't, actually. Typical mistakes does. TM is going to be in action 4 more times today, or 3 more times today. Coming up next, they'll be taking on Inside of L. After that, it'll be Inside of L taking on Yeah, they're going to play back-to-back, actually. So it'll be condensed. It's not a best of 2 or anything like that, but it'll be 2 games between those 2 teams back-to-back. Then Dignitas will meet up with Denial Esports, and Pain Gaming will meet up with TM to round the day off. TM improves to 3-1. Smeagol falls to 1-2. Coming up next, TM back in action against Inside of L. Stick with us, guys. I'm here in AC Chambers. Follow the American Dota League here on Twitch, twitch.tv/American Dota League. You can find them on Twitter as well, at American Dota. And if you enjoy what you're seeing and what you're hearing, want to keep up with me, easy peasy. All you got to do, head to Twitter, at AC, at AYESEE. We'll be right back. Stay with us.